Garlic. My recipe is this: epic. An Americana, one thing leads to another. That's how past becomes present. It's the skin of it, the taste of trial and error of it. Feel and simmer it, bring it back. Got fascinating rhythm and blues, and it all came together, but not how we planned it. The plot twist and shout riot. What are they doing in heaven today? Drove across the river like modern gods, which is the bridge of just my imagination running away with me. This cannot be happening. There is an epic part of town, last person in line under the Woodward marquee, the last person dancing in the streets. They came across the river divided. They came by car, by foot, the huge dreamers, and in truth and in hanging on, just imagine it, you wrote, and stop, and cut, and action. Live action news of rhythm and blues riots. They drive across bridges. They drive across to ground. They drive woodward and action. 1, 2, 3, go. Riot in America on TV. What are they doing in 67? What happens in heaven stays in heaven. Wet cats stray on the streets, run down alleys. They're singing in the streets. Summer's here. Time is right. Now. One more time. Cut. Take 2. The divide. Caught on tape. The bridge at 11. America. We're done for the day. Singing out and signing out and good night. Live from Detroit. Detroit. Your body like a river of sound, and the sound is a woman so fine, so smooth. Summer's here, lipstick pocket in my imagination, just my running away. Come with me to places we don't understand. Summer curves, and the time is right. In cars, in back seats, imagination taking away with me. So I sat in a coffee shop in Oakland today. Because of what didn't happen, something else happened, and a replacement happened. And I sat, and the owner comes across with a bag of groceries. I smelled it, tasted it, peeled the skin back but never saw it, and picked apart clothes in my hands, running away with me, chopping but never saw it. Superstitious and a daydream, you can feel it all over now, all over eyes closed in a coffee shop in Oakland. I feel beats in my brain and smell it, but how do I say garlic without saying garlic? Why did I assume that man was the owner? Stevie Wonder, please have a seat. All over. Feel it. Believe in things you don't understand, please. I see the beat in my brain is a history for Detroit. I take him by the hand in the coffee shop in Oakland, feel vibrant fingers running across my keys in my heart's high ground. My hands become keys too, running away with me. Something you don't understand believes in me, my pain and ordinary me. I take his hand. Now I feel I've led him to my home. Hear laughter through the window in my kitchen. I'm outside looking into my own city. Keys open doors too. Mr. Morris, sit down and welcome. I smelled garlic that day in Oakland, and running away referred my brain by nature naturally to associated senses of living in Detroit, living, breathing Detroit. Then to other things and situations, living back those days, thought of a corner market, stood in line to pay for garlic. We all pay for something now or later, or sometime or other, cash or credit, paper or plastic, and so on, and so on. Soon we'll cross that bridge. We'll get there, Stevie says. History has tears, but it has joy too. Imagine it. This song in your car in rush hour slays you, running away with the lover you lost. You gotta shout about it, cry about it, to somebody who's known about it. Baby love, where did our love go? Your broken heart stops traffic, and imagine that. running away. My imagination with me in my kitchen, in my city, in my brain, by nature, naturally, as love goes. Shout about it, dance about it, shake it and boogie on. Are you coming back soon? My hands become ribbons when I think of you. Running away, running away. Here comes the chorus, moving through me, ordinary me, my kitchen, my city. Here comes the thing I don't understand, but just go with it. Believe in it. Believe. I was at a coffee shop in my imagination in Detroit, running kids to catch the river. I was there. I wrote 2 pages, and they both seemed to have images in them. Images of songs, of cars, songs in cars, dodging potholes. Imagine the struggle. I wrote my list. I memorized the recipe, 2 pages long with short imagery that day, sitting in Oakland, but being in Detroit, imagining Stevie seeing me, because something didn't happen, something else happened. I come home, it's a recipe, it's a symphony, an epic. These are measurements, brain by nature naturally. I made this before. I know ingredients and recipe by heart. I made it up. How do you say cup without saying cup? How do you say Detroit without saying Detroit? You say handful. You say pinch of this, pinch of that, and there you go. You say, there you have it. I made tears of joy. History is a curve I feel in my hands. I see it naturally running away and looking back and forth. Stevie's hands are calloused. Sneaking out the back door, he asks, why did those days have to go? Out of sight, my imagination, superstition, running along, looking back. You're not allowed to look back, boy. Get a grip, boy. Can't smoke here, boy. Get a radio, boy. Radio, boy. Radio, boy is how you say Detroit, is how you say my brain. I lived on the dead-end street, snuggled up with guns, boy. I opened the window in my kitchen, let out the steam and aroma of my recipe. One thing leads to another, and my ingredients rushing out into streets. An ambulance catches up with heart attacks. Miracles are happening, radio boy. Radio boy looking back. Can't do that, can't do that. Making a tune in, turn out, shout out, and looking back. It's magic, it's everlasting, it's a poet in galaxies. The river was there. Radio boy was there, Stevie sings as he leaves. Makes it seem too long ago. Flashback to an island in the river and the stagnant boats, the downfall, toss coins in the fountain, and believe in superstition. Don't look back. Don't stop looking back and living forward. The city in September, history comes with tears, history comes with measurements, neighbors still moaning, making love, moving on, high school bands, practicing along Woodward, radio band boys, I recall out my window. And the mugging goes on like before in the rain on the corner, just my imagination jamming till the break of dawn. I made my recipe in my kitchen, in my city, in my brain by nature naturally. I realized a pot can be covered, but a city cannot. My city boils on, the beats roll on, looking back. You can do that, radio boy. I feel like I've just got home faster than before. Speed limits are measurements too. A cup of time, a poem on the radio, a queen gives me goosebumps. Goosebumps are measurements on my skin. I peeled garlic back. I peeled garlic looking back, a curve in my hand. I feel it in flight. History comes with joy too. Stevie sings, joy is measureless, radio boy. Imagine that. The city singing about me, in me, of me, taking off like love does, up and away and overjoyed in my kitchen, in my city, imagination running away like a river dancing and still alive. Still, they come across bridges in songs. They come together in bars. Bars are measurements in music, I realize. And remember an old family recipe where teaspoons are still measurements, where a puddle is a measurement in Detroit, a cloud a measurement, a city a measurement, a city a recipe, a radio a boy hanging out the window of tongues tasting it all in rhythm. Recall the garbage and graffiti on woodward, the abandoned vehicles on bridges, ambassador of joy in measurements of decline, but still together, still they come across with half a mind to measure your soul, your rhythm, living in the city, in your kitchen, where and when you're alone, where and when the daily struggle is done and you find yourself and you ask yourself, how do I say Detroit without saying Detroit? Just by feeling it deep within your heart, just by moving.